Okay, let's take a look at the client's story and the real reason behind the trauma. Imagine somebody tells you a story. I was working in a supermarket and I was robbed. Somebody with a black mask put a gun to my head and yelled, "Open the safe or I would kill you." That is their story. And you might react that, "That's horrible. How awful that that could happen to you. That is so scary. You probably freaked out." But now let's go back. I was robbed. Somebody put a gun to my head. Somebody with a black mask. And he yelled, "Open the safe or I would kill you." That sentence, that visual, is just a white balloon. If you as a therapist react, "That must be horrible, how awful, that's so scary," you probably freak out. Whose glasses are you referring to? Are you describing their perception or your perception? You're actually describing your perception. The only thing that you know of the client is that they actually perceived they actually experienced a situation where they were robbed or somebody put a gun to their head. But the way it is internalized for the client, you don't know yet. The horrible, awful, scary thing is your perception that you're now putting on the client. The client did not mention anything of this. The client just mentioned the facts. The client might have a total different perspective on the same event because they have different glasses. Now let's see if we can change this around, right? Let's see what might have happened in the client's mind, because when we don't speak to the client, we don't know. I was robbed and somebody put a gun to my head. He was wearing a black mask and he yelled, "Give me your money or I would kill you." This might be another perception which is going on in the client's mind. I'm going to kick the bastard. I'm going to take his gun. I'm going to be the hero of the day. Whatever. You never know what's happening in the client's mind. And this is so important. I can't stress this enough, because the client only mentions their perception or their white balloon. But if they describe a white balloon, if they describe just the facts, you never know what's going on. And you need to realize that, because they will have a total different perception of the same event than you have. I'll give you a client, a woman. In her 30s, she heard the diagnosis, "You have cancer and we need to operate." And she bursted out in tears. Why? Let's do it this way. Take a few seconds and think, why did the client burst out in tears? You don't have to pause the video, just take a few seconds. You have cancer, we need to operate, and she bursted out in tears. Why? Now let's take a look at in this client's mind. What really happened in her perception? She was scared. She was scared that she could not go on a holiday that she planned for about half a year. That was her biggest fear at the moment. Not about the disease, not about the operation. She was scared that she might have to cancel a holiday. So when this client comes into your office, says, "I have cancer," and she bursted out in tears, and you started working on emotions or whatever, that might not be her core emotions. For this client, her core emotions of that experience was not the cancer. It was, I cannot go on holiday, I need to cancel my holiday. So really be clear if the client is telling you something, if it's a white balloon, that you're not going to color the white balloon with your own glasses. Ask your client, what was it for you? What is going on? That was just a funny intermezzo, right? But it's also about assumptions. What were your assumptions watching this video? And were they correct? There are many assumptions that we make during the day about anything. And I'm not saying assumptions is bad. I'm just saying that assumptions are just assumptions. They're not real. And when you can realize that you're creating a pink balloon or you're creating a blue balloon out of the white balloon because of your perception, your assumptions, and when you realize that, it's easier to work with them and to realize that you can let go of your assumptions. Because some people are so stuck to their own assumptions, their own perceptions, that they will fight to protect that the balloon is really blue. Even if they're in a group with 100 people yelling it's white, they will say it is blue, you're all colorblind. That's how ferocious some people can be there to protect their own perceptions. When you make assumptions, which is fine, agree with yourself that you can let them go when needed, or when new proof comes to, when new proof is there. But the best is don't assume. Ask. How was that for you? I was robbed with a guy in a black mask, and he put a gun to my head, and he yelled, "If I don't get your money, I will kill you." How was that for you? What did you feel? What was your experience? I was scared, or I was exhilarated. I can fight again, or I can try out my new martial arts, or now I cannot go on a holiday because he stole my money, or now I know that guys in black masks are dangerous, or whatever. Don't assume. Ask. How was that for you? What did it do to you? How did you perceive it? Don't assume. And there's a small gimmick to remember that, because when you decompose the word assume, you get something like this. You make an ass out of you and me, which is kind of funny, right?
Now continue and subscribe to our platform and get more additional free resources and other related videos, also free. Just go to free.biocompass.org.